Hello and welcome to Epiphytic cacti. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Epiphyllum hybrid, Mr. P. According to the Epiphyllum Society of America Registry, Mr. P was registered in 2007. The hybridizer was Don Patterson and it was registered by Chuck Everson and Jerry Williams of Rainbow Gardens Nursery. The description reads, inner petals orange with magenta throat, next row orange with darker orange midstripe, outer petals reddish-orange, overlapping bell form, flat basket growth. The flower size is medium to large, and the seed parent or mother was Golden Jubilee, and the pollen parent or father was Maharani. This is actually a plant that I featured in a different video called Single Pot Mysteries. And in that video, basically what had happened here is that I had gotten cuttings from two different sources, and both of them were supposed to be Mr. P. So I put them together, and the first bud was really large and it actually aborted before it bloomed. And then the second bud bloomed, but it really didn't look like Mr. P. Much to my surprise, after I shot that video, it started forming another bud on a different one of those cuttings. And so now it has bloomed again, and I don't actually have to wait till next year because this is, in fact, Mr. P. So I'm very excited about that because this was a hybrid that I very much wanted in my collection. Yeah, so I've actually had this hybrid for 2 years, and it really hasn't grown all that well for me. It's possible that the original cuttings that I had gotten from this were not totally mature. So, when I would plant them or whatever, they might actually need like that season to mature, and then now they're blooming because they've had the season to mature, and then they'll start actively growing. Hopefully. Maybe it's just not liking the environment that it's in. So let's zoom in and take a closer look at the flower. There we go. So on closer inspection of the flower here, if we zoom quite a ways in there, you can see that on the inner petals, they're actually, let's go here. So on the innermost petals, they're mostly fuchsia, tipped with a little bit of orange. And then as we start working our way back, you can see that just the base is actually fuchsia with a little bit of edging, and then it tips out and the coloration becomes orange. You can see the fade there. And then as you move out into the next petals, even more so, they become even more orange. There's still a little bit of fuchsia back here, but they become even more and more orange. And then when we look at the very, very outer petals, the very back petals, they're a much darker sort of orange color. Bordering a little bit on red, but it's not quite red. It's still orange, I can tell. And then you can see like the end is just tipped with a little bit of fuchsia. They're all tipped with just a little bit of fuchsia. Yeah, it's a really, really just absolutely gorgeous combination of colors. This is probably one of my favorite color combinations when it comes to Epiphyllum flowers, is definitely this fuchsia combined with orange. So if we get a little bit of a look at the side view, there we go. There's kind of a side view. You can see it's got like a little bit of a wild form here. Sometimes it's a little bit deceiving though, because when it rains, it actually weighs the petals down and it can actually make it seem like it's got a form that it doesn't quite have. And now if you look at the back side of the flower, you can see I even think that the back petals, like the back side of this flower, is just absolutely gorgeous, just because I love that gradient, that color combination of that fuchsia and that orange and the shades of orange. It's got so many different shades of orange and so much gradation happening on all the different petals. It's just really lending itself to, I think what is a very complex sort of meld of colors. It's just absolutely stunning. I don't even know. It's definitely a keeper, definitely a must-have for me. Absolutely stunning, absolutely fantastic. You can see how beautiful these back petals are in all those different gradients of color. Just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm very thankful that I no longer have to feel worried about whether or not Mr. P is Mr. P. I hope you've enjoyed the Epiphyllum hybrid Mr. P as much as I have. Thank you for watching, and happy cacti growing.